Let's talk a little bit about abundance. This gardening method is going to wish you had a bigger bag. This is, I basically got a bag out of the truck. These are greens. We've got mustard greens. We've got daikon radish greens. We've got kale greens. You can see some other types of plants coming up in here, but what you're looking at right now is the result of a well-timed cover crop. I'm Justin Hitt with Prosperity Homestead, and we're at a demonstration site here. And what we're looking at is a combination of hairy vetch, grass, daikon radish, different types of seeds that came up by volunteer. You can see a path in the middle here where we didn't seed anything. And this is a well-timed crop. Now, I can't take any credit for it. Scott Vernon of Sustainable Homestead Institute got this crop in right on time. You can see some red clover. And you can also see a lot of seeds that came up through the previous season. What we've done here, if you've been following along in the videos, is we've actually mounded raised beds, permanent raised beds up at the top of the garden here near the gate. And we've got larger paddocks near the bottom. We'll take a look at that. But what's happening is the daikon radishes are coming in, the wheat, the different types of plants. We've got wildflower seeds out here. We've got a little bit of everything, and it gives me a wonderful salad pick of different types of greens. Now, you can preserve these greens by souring them and fermenting them. You can eat them just right straight, raw. You can cook them, a light saute. But you'll notice these beds is we've got everything in cover crop. So the permanent raised beds, we flail mowed those down. And then we did what's called a shallow tillage, probably a 1-inch till, 2-inch till at the most, and kind of just roughed up the surface. And what we're trying to do is outcompete the grasses, because naturally we have these grasses here. We want to outcompete these grasses with fine cover crop and different type of biomass. So the upper beds, you can still see a little bit of shape in that bed. You can see the raised beds here. Isn't that beautiful? It's an abundance. Now, when you get down here a little further, these beds are not as cultivated. So the top beds had some manure put on them. They've had a little bit more work. Down here a little bit lower, we actually spread out some areas to make bigger, like flat terraces. You see a nice little sitting area there under the trees, relax. Look at these wildflowers. Big, nice row of wildflowers. Now, I've been debating on when to flail these down, but see how powerful they still are? They're still going pretty good. So what we do is when it's dry, we come through and we pick off the seeds, and we just throw the seeds on the ground. Now, you might be saying, well, Justin, there's all kinds of grass in there. Well, again, we're out competing the grass with biomass, with wonderful cut flowers when the season's in. See the seeds on the top of that? We just take those and spread them on the ground under the plant. And then we flail mow the whole thing, and then we'll get flowers to come right back up. Here's another little level terrace spot. We're not going to let any land go to waste here. Anywhere we can get a level spot, we're going to cut it open. And again, we're not tilling deep into the ground. We're essentially preparing the soil, leveling out the area, and the only deep tillage we're doing is when we're getting a terrace more level. Now, you can see the grass combinations down here are a little bit different. We do have more field grasses than we have up top. Again, up top's our vegetable bed. Down here is going to be corn and different kind of bulk grains and other types of plants. Now, we've got another little area over here. I actually seeded this area up top with wildflower seeds. Not sure how well they're going to go, but there's also cover crop in there. You can see the peas. You can see the different daikon radishes. Now, the soil down here is different. You can see there's a dark strip right down the middle here. That's our vegetative strip. We can actually ride a riding lawnmower in there to mow that out. But it's breaking apart two paddocks. There's two separate paddocks here. Top paddock is wildflowers because this access point, we want to basically kind of make it scenic. Coming in here, you'll see rows of wildflowers. There's bees out on the other end. Over here is bulb cut flowers. Now, again, we let the bulb flower areas overgrow. And this one's getting about there when the tops of the bulbs die is when we flail mow this. And then I come back in and mulch and clean the beds up a little bit. But essentially, we've got all these different patches. Down here, look at this area. This area, the cover crop is going wild. It is really going wild in here. And that's because this area was tilled out and leveled. And then plant it with a cover crop, again, at the appropriate time. Look at the abundance. I will not be able to eat all of this, all these greens in here, no matter how hard I try. But again, it is quite the abundance. And so we got another little sliver of a field here. And then on the other side, the same thing. Nice little field. And then there's a persimmon tree in here. And then below that, here's another field. This is where the sun hemp was growing. Now this ground down here is hard as a rock. If I'm going to do any tillage, I might do some tillage down here, but we basically did a 3-inch till just to break up the surface so that we could take that cover crop. And then we'll kind of come back and think about how we can maybe level this out a little bit more to make a good growing terrace. We'll probably do a light tillage so that we can use a seeder to put down corn or some other crop. Now, this year we're probably going to do corn with pumpkins and beans all in the same field, kind of a companion planting. And we're just going to fill this field up. Those flags down on the bottom are actually contour lines. Now, one of the interesting things about what we're doing here, we'll get the bottom-up view, is we're working with contours. We're essentially doing all these big wide terraces on contour, and we're trying to minimize the amount of digging and tillage that we do. That's why you can see that some of the beds look a little lumpy. But down here in this area, it's kind of the broad acreage. And you can see how this cover crop has taken. And then you got a little bit of cover crop overflowing into the little road here. But it's, again, it's designed for easy access. That's why we have the trails in here. We also have these cross cuts. So there's a little cross cut from this post to that post where you can walk through or take a wagon. Down here, I'm putting a tree nursery in. I did run out of cardboard, and I'm going to come down here and make sure that the cardboard covers up. But we got more cardboard coming. And then over here again is another set of bulbs. So we've got bulbed flowers. We've got radishes and different types of cover crops. We've got more cut flowers over there near the gate. We've got blackberries. Got a little bit of everything going over here. Now, if you would like to learn how this works and how the design is coming together, you may even want to get some hands-on experience doing this type of thing, then you want to visit the website www.sustainablehomesteadinstitute.org and go ahead and send in an email. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us about your interest in permaculture or natural farming or organic farming, and we will, if there's an event, we'll let you know about it. But right now, this is a fall season. It's November right now, and we're just getting these cover crops, just admiring these cover crops. We're also looking at some of the soil conditions. I may come out here and lime everything. See, the top has been limed a few times. We've got a good clay soil here, but clay soil is difficult to get the nutrients out of if it doesn't have the right pH. So, and we have signals that the pH is off because these are like blackberries, like an acidic soil. Long story short, I'm going to lime these bottom areas when I come back, just to see if we can't get a little more pep out of the bottom areas here. And then, of course, down there is hard as a rock. But again, you visit the website, request information, and if we have an event going on, we'll be happy to invite you out. Thanks for watching. I'm Justin Hitt from Prosperity Homestead.